Pete, good to catch up with you. Before we get to the hockey stuff, let's do the housekeeping. Enjoying life in Wales? Have you been to Barry Island? Do you know the anthem yet? How are you settling into Cardiff?
It's good. There's not been a lot of time to go and see a lot of things. We've been pretty busy, but the weather's been good, so the whole of the UK is enjoying ourselves right now. Everybody's out with their tops off. But yeah, it's been great. We've been busy and it's been good in here. It's nice outside and it's even better in here, I think, right now.
Has training camp gone, and albeit we're only sort of half the way through it, has it gone as well as you wanted it to? The guys came in prepared and in terms of the work you and Ewan are doing, everything you anticipated?
Yeah, it's just training camp. I'm used to the longer camps now from being in Germany, so it's what you need. We've played with heavy legs the last 4 games, and I think this weekend we'll play with heavier legs probably because it's been tough. But when we come out the other side of that, we should be a lot sharper. But I think the guys have been great. Every coach and every GM right now thinks they get the best group they ever had. And I think it's how that ends up in the process. But right now I like the group. It's been fantastic. They're a great bunch. And on and off the ice, they've been receptive to everything. And they're playing with and practicing with good energy on and off the ice.
And whilst it's training camp, whilst it's exhibitions, winning is a habit, and you're 4 from 4, including a couple of comeback victories as well. That must please a coach.
Yeah, for sure, because pre-season's pre-season, and we face different challenges. I thought the Belfast games were great. 2 sold-out rinks, 2 really good teams going at it. And then last weekend we were hot on Saturday night, and Amiens showed us the massive respect by trapping the next night and putting 5 guys around the net and protecting the house, and it was difficult for us to create offence. We go 3-0 down, and then we asked for a little bit more. The people paid their money, and we got to give them a little bit more, and they found a lot more in the last period, and I thought we managed the situation really, really well.
These are the questions I expect either no comment to or what have you, but one thing I wanted to ask, a lot of times in pre-season we see line juggling, we see different combinations. You seem to have come in and had a dead set maybe on what your lines are going to be, at least for the start of the season. Something you wanted, and are you happy with the way the lines are going right now?
Yeah, I think that I had what I want. I think it was important. That doesn't mean competition is not competition in the group, but I think when we put the team together, there was an idea where people would sit in the bus, and I think you've got to go with that. You've got to know what your best lineup is. If you start having to juggle all the time, then you don't really know where you are. So right now, I think we've got our best lineup. Do you know what I mean? And I think some players want to give more still in games, and it's not came yet. But in practice, there's guys that haven't been what they want to be, showing a lot in practice. So it will come. It's just getting used to it all again. So no, I've got a set where we are. Obviously, we're missing Richie. That's a big loss, but Petronaro's done good back there. He's not a D-man, but he's covered in really well, but Richie's a big loss. I think the D have been pretty solid. We've been good 5-5, where PK needs a bit of work. We know that, but it's week 2. I think both goalies have been good. They've done well. And I think the forwards were scoring goals. And I thought our power play looked really good in the weekend.
This was going to come later, but as you mentioned him, I'll ask about him. The captain, Mark Richardson, precautionary, I assume. How is he doing at the moment?
Yeah, for sure he would want to play straight away, but I don't think it's wise to do that. I think you should just look after people and make sure they're back in time, because I think the group's strong enough to miss 1 or 2 guys. And I think that shows the respect we have for the other players as well, John. I think that if we rush people back, I'm just going to put ourselves in the back foot. We don't want to do that. Not at this stage of the year. That's madness.
You've allowed us to come into your office, which is right next to the locker room. It seems a pretty loud locker room. That's mainly Evan Mosey, I guess. But how is the locker room starting to gel with these guys? A lot of newcomers to Cardiff as well.
They're good. There's a lot of good guys in there. And I told you when we were scouting for players, the first question was, what's the person like? And so far, they were nails. We got it nailed on about the person. They're all good guys. They're mixing well. They seem to enjoy coming to the rink right now. They don't go home quick. I think Mudds is fed up with that. He wants to get home quicker, but Mudds smiles because he says it's good to see this, because as a equipment manager you see a lot, and he says the guys stay here, and I think that's good. They feel comfortable, they feel happy to be around each other. So for me, that's the first foundation of a hockey team. A real good hockey team is how they come together, and I think we got that. We done some team building. It was I heard it wasn't easy on them. It challenged them hard mentally and physically. And they were a credit to the Cardiff Devils, and they were a credit to the passion we want and the energy and sticking at it. So I think they became a stronger group, and I think it really made them feel they achieved something because it was tough. And I think that's why we done it. It was a good time to do it. 2 weeks were gone. we're in good condition, and we probably really hurt them this week in terms of workload and pushed them to another level. So we see how it comes out in the end.
We talked when we spoke back in the summer, he says, well, it's 29 degrees outside, about what a Pete Russell team looks like. From my very layman's point, we're starting to see that. A couple of the features I noticed, very good puck support on the breakout, and particularly guys going to the net, layers of pressure to the net, but with their sticks on the ice as well. Is that something you're preaching?
Yeah, they're definitely 3 key habits. I think, you know what, the game's full of mistakes, and I say, I don't mind you making mistakes, but if we make mistakes, we've got to be connected all over the ice in every zone, and right now I see that. I see 5 people in every zone, quick, and I think it's good you notice the net pressure, because I think we lacked that in the first 2 periods on Sunday, and then we started doing it and we caused them all sorts of problems. You know, we shrunk the zone and we got at them and we created through layers, and I like the stick comment. We talk a lot about sticks, stick details, and yeah, I think the signs are good. It's going to be a tough league. There's some really good teams in this league. Don't be kidded. You know, they're stacked up, some of these teams, and I think we've got a really good team as well. But the team that comes out in the end will be the team who stays the healthiest, the team that keeps progressing in the journey, and probably the team that's the most together and mentally strong. And I hope that's our team.
You give me some good segues here. I was going to ask, and I'm not looking to break into your pre-scouts or anything, but most, if not all, rosters now complete. You've obviously got an eye on the other teams around the league. What sort of stands out to you? And certainly it seems like perhaps a stronger, deeper league this year.
Yeah, I think the league's up a level. Sheffield, for a start, they're carrying 17 imports. Guildford, 18 imports. I think Belfast, 15 to 16 imports. Nottingham, 16 imports. Do you know, you can keep going down the list. There's a lot of good teams. Glasgow's up their game as well, and you know, Fife, for having lack of Brits, have done a good job so late. You know, and I think Coventry's going to be the same. Coventry, Manchester carrying extra import. You know, so the league's up. Do you know what I mean? I hope I've not missed anybody. I don't mean that, but the league's up a level. But I'm more interested in our team. You know, like, and we have to focus on what we do. Of course, we pre-scout and wait for other teams, but what comes out in the end, what we do. You know, with and without the puck, and how disciplined we are, and how much energy we have with and without the puck. And I think they're the important things we have to focus on, because if we worry too much about everybody else, then we're not going to put all our focus into what we're doing. So we're going to focus on the Cardiff Devils, you know, and we're going to respect every team we play, and we're going to try and come and play every night and make sure it's fun.
2 more quick ones, because I know you're busy. One of the things I'm looking forward to this year, and I guess Devils fans as a whole, looks like it's going to be a great netminder battle, a friendly netminder battle, but competitive netminder battle between 2 talented guys in Bounds and Booth. How have you enjoyed that so far? Yeah,
it's great, because you need 2 goalies. You can't play. No one can play in this league for 65 to 70 games. It's impossible. And I think we have 2 good goalies. You know, Bounsy's got great experience in this league. Callum's new to it and he's learning as he goes, but he's a talented goalie, and they get on really well, which is nice. They're happy for each other, and I think that's, again, down to the culture we're trying to build. You know, healthy competition, but support each other, you know, and we want that here, and I think we've got that in that area right now, definitely.
So let's finally just preview the weekend games. I think this is going out in the next 24 hours. Glasgow, a team that you know, well, a city you know, a team you were involved in, so it'd be nice to see a few people. But what should the fans expect in terms of, again, building up to the season? This is still pre-season.
Yeah, Glasgow's going to be excited, because this is the first games. So I said to the guys actually this week, you remember we went to Belfast, how buzzed you were before the game, and that's what you're going to play against at the weekend, and they have some really good players. Their coach is a great guy. He's a really good human being. I met him a good few times in Germany, and Glasgow's got a good person there, and he's going to help them. Do you know what I mean? For sure. I've got a soft spot for Glasgow. Everybody knows I have. I loved it there. Do you know what I mean? They helped me get to Germany and everything. Do you know, they put me in a position of a great club to do something, and we had a great year. But I think the games are going to be gritty. They've got a pretty deep, gritty team. They look as if they're blue collar, and they've got some high-end talent. I think we all know the players we're talking about, and I think they get great goaltending. Do you know, so it's going to be a good game. You know, that's what we want. We want to play good teams. Like, we don't want to play in games that there's no competition, and we want to play good teams that pushes, and it would be good to see us being pushed a little bit more, and I think we will at the weekend, and we'll see how we respond to that.
Fantastic, Pete. I know we've interrupted your day. Thanks for taking the time, and hopefully catch up with you again in a week or so.
No problem.